All right, moving into Barrie, specifically looking at the freehold market within Barrie, we did see a slight decrease there month over month when we're looking at our median price. We're down 2.5%. Transaction volume pretty much holding steady. We sold one extra unit there. Median days on market going down just a little bit, down a day, not bad. Termination volume pretty high. We're at 40% increase month over month. And Matt, when we look at our year over year sales volume, there it is. There's that 30% decrease. We saw some of that reflected, obviously, in the Simcoe chart. Our year over year pricing being down just under 6% at 5.8. Year to date change in comparison, this number is not bad. Only being down 2.8% year to date in comparison to last year.
Yep.
Transaction volume being down a little bit more staggering of a number, but again, holds true to what we've been seeing and what all of our graphs show. I don't know if there's anything else that stands out for me here. New listings being up. It'll be interesting to see our chart how that stacks in comparison to previous years. Yeah, in the mix. Again, good increase here from April to May, which is not uncommon. We've seen some big years. 2018, we saw a big increase there. Again, 2020, looking at the start, it was a rocket ship the way it took off. And we sold our home, one of our last homes, in December of 2020. And we purchased, thankfully, a month later. And Jen and I had said, if we didn't get the one that we got, it would have been so challenging for us, because this is how 2021 started. Not just in terms of, like, obviously this is a new listings chart, but if you look at median sale price in a lot of areas, this is how sale prices were going at the start of 2021. And we caught the window just perfectly before that uptick. And we were so grateful that we did. Otherwise, we might have got trapped in the in-between of how crazy that went. Active listings not being the highest we've seen, but we are starting to creep up there among some of the higher years. Obviously, 2018, 2019, and even 2017, still the years that we talk about the most in terms of those active listings, where we start to see stuff pile up, especially now that April has passed. 2017 will definitely enter that conversation. Just one of those things to start to keep watching. I wonder if we need this really flat sales volume for 2025. Like, Matt,
it's staggering how well the new listings chart and the active chart is holding up with the sales being like that.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people are taking their property off the market and just not needing to sell, clearly. Because those should be record high numbers with a sales volume.
Yeah, if you're looking at sales volume like this, and new listings still trending higher than a lot of other years, and your active listings starting to creep up there too, like it just should be so much higher. This should be so much higher.
So you know what? There's not a lot of desperation in that market. It tells me that people are just like, you know what? It's fine. I'll just wait. I don't have to exit. Whereas if you see a sales volume like that in some of the southern areas, you're making all-time highs for active and probably new listings. Well, at least the active listings. If you're having sales like that, because I think there are probably more people a little further south that probably need to get out, and that's why.
Yeah. I don't know when this comment came in, but I want to highlight it. I think I can get it into our broadcast here. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know. That is crazy. Yeah, agreed, Megan. I don't know what part you were saying it to, but looking at this chart, it's probably the most fitting to just see how flat that sales volume is. Yeah. I'm gonna bring Stacy in here as well. I'm noticing listings come off and not going back on in Barrie. Yeah, Stacy, that's exactly what Matt was just saying with our data too. So it's great that you're seeing it firsthand, because that's what the chart says. Like, if with sales volume this low, how is our active listings not way above what we've seen in the past? Let me get my chart back up there. See, it's still kind of it's trending towards the high side, but this would. If everything else was the same, you wouldn't be worried about active listings being at this number, right? So that just says exactly what you and Matt are seeing, is that people just aren't relisting. Matt's the sense there that you're talking about is people, there's not the desperation. I'll take it off the market. We'll wait.
Yeah. When you see a termination volume that high and then a price increase, like, it doesn't add up. So clearly the termination volume is to terminate and not relist.
Yeah.
At least a decent chunk of that is what's going on.
Yeah. Makes sense. Megan, Stacy, thank you so much for joining in the conversation because that added context to what we were seeing in the data. Okay, looking at median sale price, this is another place where now from April to May, we did see the crossover to 2021. We are going to see this in a couple of areas, if not like as we've seen, not yet. We're going to start seeing them in their later months, June, July, maybe the summer. Definitely in a lot of areas, definitely come the fall. But yeah, we've now in Barrie for freeholds, we've crossed under the 2021 pricing. This goes back to like just trying to share that story with buyers. If you're able to now, this is a clear sign you get to buy from 4 years ago pricing, which rarely ever happens in the GTA housing market, just housing in general. So, there is opportunity out there. It's just, is it right for you and your family to take advantage of it? Right.
Absolutely. And also for anyone transacting in the Barrie market, like steal these charts
Yep.
because it's going to give your clients great insight
Mm,
as to how you need to price the property and how you need to be very aggressive in this market, especially in Barrie, if you want to transact,
yeah.
because that transaction volume is stagnant.
Yeah. And again, it does look like we're trending upwards more again in terms of our months of inventory. We're at 5.26. So again, balance leaning towards the buy side, much more comfortably in the buy side than we've seen in some other areas. And that's where we're looking at for Barrie. Now, let's